Hi Leo, welcome to your March 2024 energy reading. My name is Kimberly from the Path Illuminated. If you are returning to the channel, thank you for your support. If you are new here, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button if you would like to stay up to date on when I post new content here. Leo, I hope you are doing well. As I am recording this video, it is March 2nd. We are still in the midst of Pisces season. Hope you are doing well and taking care of yourself. We're going to get started right away with your reading today. This is the Earth Magic Tarot that I'm using. It's a new deck that I'm really loving. I'll be clarifying with the Modern Witch Tarot. Thank you, angel spirits and guides. What are the most relevant messages for Leo at this time? Please help me in pulling insights for Leo spirit. All right, so looks like you are going to be gaining some clarity regarding a decision. Looks like whatever this decision is, Leo, it's definitely got to do with money, with pentacles, with coins, as the Earth Magic Tarot calls it. Two of Swords in reverse talks about coming out of any sort of confusion or uncertainty about a choice or decision you have to make. Now, it definitely looks like this is regarding, like I said, your money, your stability. You know, when it comes to pentacles or coins, it's anything in your 3D reality that has to do with your stability, Leo. So Five of Coins is a card of typically what they say in the tarot community is quote unquote being left out in the cold. It can speak to financial constraint, financial setbacks. Now, this could definitely be something that is happening in actuality, right? Maybe there have been or could be some expenses that you are not anticipating, or some financial situations that you were not necessarily considering. But this also could be, I always like to point this out, just like any other card in energy, right? It could be a fear. It could be stress related to finances or your stability, right? And, you know, I think it's important to acknowledge that just on a worldwide scale, things are pretty chaotic right now. And, you know, I think that there are a lot of worries that people have about their stability, financial and otherwise. And almost every single person I know, whether they are gainfully employed, whether they have savings or not, people are really worried about their money, about how they're going to make ends meet, about what's going on in the global economy. So, you know, this could be you are just trying to be wise with your resources and you are maybe, you know, cutting back on expenses, which, you know, look, if you have been spending money a bit frivolously or without thinking, this is not it's never a bad time to save money. So I would say like, and look, Nine of Coins is a card of financial stability and having everything that you need. It also can point to the fact that you, whatever stability you have, financial or otherwise, right? Because the coins represent the things in your 3D reality, right? This could be an indication, either a reminder that you have everything that you need, or just what's the word I'm looking for, Leo? Basically to remind you that even though you may during the month of March go through some financial constraint or financial worry, that things in the long run are going to turn out just fine and you are going to have money for everything you need. But there is wisdom, right, in taking stock of where you are spending your money, your resources, right, in your 3D reality. And it looks like if you've been thinking about that, you're going to gain some clarity with regard to where your money is going, if there are any sort of, you know, gaps If there are, you know, like I've had this happen, I don't know if you have, where I'm looking at my bank statement and I realize, I didn't even know I had a subscription to this service. I don't even use it, which is always usually irritating because I find it after the fact. So definitely pay attention to where your money is going. Don't be frivolous. This is a good time to, you know, fill any gaps that you may have. Pay a bit closer attention, you know, to your bank statements, to your credit card statements, but also remind yourself that even if, you know, there are bills, expenses that come your way this month that you're not expecting, you can plan for this. And when you cut back on elective expenditures or things that are nice to haves, not need to haves, you will have everything that you need, right? And if there is a bit of a setback this month, in the end, it's going to turn around if you commit to the things that you need to do in your 3D reality. It's just, I have to say that in the sense that the coin energy or the pentacle energy is the energy that typically can take the longest to manifest in our reality because our 3D reality is so very dense, right? And so there's absolutely nothing wrong with acknowledging if you've been spending money a little carelessly, if you need to pull back, if you need to be a bit more intentional. It's ultimately going to lead you to stability in the long run. So in the short term, you know, get really clear. I think it is very obvious to you with this Two of Swords in reverse, Leo, where you may have some gaps in where you're spending your money or even just your resources in general, which can be, right, your time, your energy, whatever, right? If it's not going to give you a return on investment, it's something to consider pulling back on, right? And look, Leo, there's no shame in our coping mechanisms, right? When we are doing things or spending money to attempt to make ourselves feel better, you know, that's very understandable. It's a very human thing, especially in this reality. But if it's just throwing money at a problem that cannot be solved by throwing money at it, it's really time to pull that back and to think about Nine of Coins, long-term stability, right? If you spend this money now, is that really solving the problem? Is that really fixing an issue, or is it a fix, right? Is it like a pattern, a response to your stress, to your anxiety, to your depression, right? That you're like, I'm feeling stressed out. I need to spend money on this. I need to buy myself a new outfit. I need to buy myself makeup that I don't need. I need to go to an expensive restaurant because that makes me feel better. But then I get home and I look at my bank account and I'm like, crap, I have this bill that I wasn't expecting. And I wish I wouldn't have spent all that money going to that dinner with my friends. I had a good time, but I need to be a bit more intentional and stop being so frivolous with the way I'm spending my money, because ultimately I need to plan for the future and I want to have long-term stability with regard to my money. So definitely something to take some stock of this month. We also have the Two of Coins here, and this is also about coming into balance with how you are spending your money, how you are investing your money, how you are investing your time and your energy. Again, it's just something to consider, right? Like, what are your long-term goals, Leo? If your long-term goals is that you want to build up your savings, you want to invest, right? Whether it's like a 401k or a Roth IRA or some other type of investment, you're going to need to think about the places and the people that you're spending your time, energy, money, and resources with, and whether or not that's actually a good investment. You have to come into balance, Two of Coins, and make some smart decisions about the resources that you have right now if you want to have stability, Nine of Coins, in the long run. Your stability depends on the choices. Your long-term stability depends on the choices that you are making now, is what I'm getting very clearly right now, Leo. All right. Thank you, angel, spirits, and guides. If this is resonating for you, Leo, give the video a like. Let me know how this is showing up for you. Obviously, for each of you, this is going to be different, right? Like, but I'm definitely getting to take stock of where your money is going. Like I said, this could be, maybe there are subscriptions that you forgot that you have on auto renew, right? And you can cut back on those things so that, right, if you decide, hey, I do want to go out with my friends to dinner, let's say twice a month. Okay, let me look at actually where I'm spending my money. And look, listen, Leo, I am somebody, I don't like to think about money, but sometimes we have to, especially if it's starting to feel like you are penny pinching, right? And you are having more month left over at the end of the paycheck, as they say, right? Start to take accountability for where there are gaps in your budget, and understand that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to deprive yourself. It just means that you need to be more intentional. So this is like, again, there's a lot of coin energy here. It's a lot about your stability and the choices that you're making right now and where you are investing your time, energy, and resources. So it's like, maybe if you're going out 3 or 4 times a week, maybe that's not the best use of your money. Maybe you need to pull back, right? Maybe instead of going out to dinner with your friends every week where everybody's buying all of this food and all of these drinks, and then it's really expensive, right? Because of the cost of living, et cetera, you need to cut back on that, right? There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I can't do brunch, but I'd love to go to coffee with you, right? I can get a coffee instead of going to an expensive brunch where we're doing bottomless mimosas and not thinking, right, about the ramifications of the bill that's going to come at the end of our time together, right? So it's not necessarily about depriving ourselves. And I think that that's really important when we are getting pushback from spirit and advice from spirit to pay attention to where our money is going and how we are spending it. Because ultimately you need to think about what you want in the long term. You know, short term gratification, it feels nice in the moment, but then again, right, like I said, you get back and you look at your bank statement and you're like, oh crap, there's this bill that came in that I wasn't expecting, but I've been going out so often that like now I feel like where's the money that I need, right? And you're playing catch up. If you want long-term stability, now is a time to make some choices. And I think those choices are very clear to you. You may not necessarily enjoy this process. And again, I totally empathize with that, Leo, but Spirit is definitely advising you to take stock of where you are spending that time and money. 9 of Cups in reverse and the King of Swords. Yeah, like I was saying, right? 9 of Cups, when it's upright, it's about wish fulfillment. This is in reverse. So it's like, I think this is about you really being honest with yourself. Is how you're spending your money really going to lead to your happiness, or is it just a momentary fix? Is it just in the moment when you're around these people, when you're hanging out with your friends, when you're spending the money at dinner or whatever entertainment you're engaging in? It's like in the moment it feels good, but then you go home and you have to face reality and you're like, crap, I'm an adult. I know it sucks, Leo. And I have all of these responsibilities. And now I'm starting to feel really freaking stressed out. And yes, in the moment, it felt good to spend that money, but now I'm having to face the consequences and I'm stressed out and I'm agitated and I'm worried. King of Swords, this is air energy. This is like, again, for me, it's like there is logic and reason that you have available to you. You can approach this from a very logical place, again, like I was saying, where you don't necessarily have to deprive yourself, but you do need to be responsible with what you have, right? Whatever you have worked for, you've worked really hard for it, Leo. So make sure you're being wise and grounded in your approach and not just being, so influenced by the moment and the people that you're around that you are not thinking about what this means in the long term. And like for me, especially with this particular card, right, this individual, you see like his veins and his musculature and his all this kind of like inner workings. And for me, this is like taking care of what you have. And this has to do with your money. This has to do with your body. This has to do with your mind. This has to do with your peace, right? And you can think outside of the box, right? This is, Aquarius energy for me. You have this little spaceship here. It's like, for me, think outside of the box. There are ways that you can have fun. There are ways that you can treat yourself that don't require you to empty the bank and don't require you to be frivolous with the things that you already have available to you. And I think that you have an opportunity, if you're willing to do the work this month, Leo, to really come to a grounded and logical place and to be very clear about what you are going to spend your money and your resources on and what you need to cut off. And you may need to be clear about your boundaries with people, right? If you have friends that I've gone through this before where, like I'm trying to save money and my friends are just used to me always saying yes. And then when I start to push back and say, I'd love to see you, but like, can we go for a walk? Instead of spending money, right? There are other things that we can do that are not going to break the bank. And there have been times where I've kind of been given the peer pressure situation, and I don't like that as an adult. It's like, if I'm telling you, right, as a friend, hey, I'm in this place of trying to save money, of trying to be a bit more intentional and logical about how I'm utilizing my resources. I've had a great time, but I've been spending a bit too much and I need to start saving money a bit more. I've had some expenses that I didn't expect. If somebody's going to give you crap about that, you need to push back on them. Like, we are adults here. And there are other ways that we can spend time with each other. And if the only way that a friend is going to be willing to hang out with you is if you're spending hundreds of dollars every time you go out, that's something for you to think about, right? And it's like, it's not that you're not trying to tell anybody else what to do, Leo. You are simply holding yourself accountable. And if somebody's going to be triggered by that and try to peer pressure you into spending money that you don't or can't spend, that's something to cut off, right? That's something to push back on and be like, what's the point of peer pressuring me? We're adults. You should understand this. You have bills too. Now, like, if that your friends or your family want to go out and spend a bunch of money every freaking week, every freaking weekend, they can do that, right? But you still are responsible for your own life, your own responsibilities, and your own situation. Three of Cups, if you cut back now, you are going to have something to celebrate in the future. You will be surrounded by people and situations that are going to give you the opportunity to enjoy yourself. But it's not in depleting, Nine of Cups in reverse, all of your resources to, it's giving me the Keeping Up with the Joneses vibe. I don't know if you've heard that phrase before, but it's like, sometimes people can get caught up in trying to prove that they have money, trying to prove that they like to have fun, trying to prove that they can go out just as much as everybody else because it's a status thing. And again, that can sometimes come up when you start to tell people like, hey, I want to hang out with you, but like, can we go for coffee instead of brunch? Can we go for a walk? I'm trying to save money this month, whatever, right? This is like, for me, Three of Cups of understanding that you don't need to do the most to enjoy yourself and to pour into your own cup and to have a good time. And the people that are going to support you are going to support you in your intentions, in your boundaries, in your goals, right? I definitely have had this over the last few months where I've been pulling back on what I've been spending money on that I don't need to. And I've told some friends, right? I've been like, hey, can we do things that don't cost a ton of money? Seriously, I've been like, can we go for a walk? And most of the time my friends are like, oh yeah, of course, sure. Or like, hey, do you want to come over my house? And like, I spend so much money for rent, right? Like, do you want to come over and have tea at my house and like hang out and talk? We don't always have to go and deplete all of our resources and spend all of the money just to hang out with each other. And if I have to, that's something that, I'm personally going to have to reconsider. If I have to pay to play just to hang out with you, that you need me to prove that like I have this money, because in somebody else's mind, the only way that they can have fun is if they're at an expensive restaurant or a club that costs $1 million to get into, and they want to freaking get bottle service all the time to like prove to the gram that they're like living that life. It's like a lot of times people are doing all of these things and spending all of this money to prove to who knows who, right? Because it's usually people that don't even care about them, to prove that they have all of this status, all of this wealth, et cetera, et cetera. And this, not always, but people who are grounded individuals that are stable in their finances and their just life choices don't need to flaunt it. They don't need to prove to the world and to strangers on the internet that they can afford bottle service and spend, a 200% markup on bottle service, right? It's like, I don't personally drink alcohol. There's no judgment there, but there's a reason why people invented the quote unquote pregame. It's like, come over, let's have some drinks or whatever at my house before we go to the club. Let's go to the club before we have to pay an arm and a leg to get in. We can still go out and have fun without breaking the bank. And if somebody is pressuring you to deplete you of your own resources just to prove something to the internet, like, understand you don't have to do the most to have a good time, Leo. And whoever's trying to convince you of that, they have their own issues that they're dealing with, and you do not have to live by their own standards. Four of Cups in reverse. This is very much letting go of feeling like you're missing out. If this is Four of Cups upright, this is like focusing on situations, people, places that like are depleting you, are like making you feel bad for how you want to use your money, your time, your resources, and missing out on an opportunity, but it's reversed. So I do see you coming into balance in yourself emotionally and taking accountability for where you are spending your money. I think, if you decide to do this up front in the month of March, it may be a challenge to begin with, but again, understand Nine of Coins is your long-term goal. You want to be financially independent. You want to have everything that you need, but you're going to have to understand the resources that are available to you, right? Start to pay attention to your budget, to where your money is being spent. If you need to cancel subscriptions, whatever, be smart with what you have. Don't let other people make you feel like you have to literally kill yourself and and deplete yourself of the resources that you do have. Tell those people what they need to hear. Understand that you can do less and still enjoy your time, and don't have FOMO, right? Like the people who are posting that they're at this club, this fancy restaurant, that has nothing to do with you. Do you. Be confident in yourself, in your intentions, in your knowledge of self and what you are trying to build, Nine of Coins, in the long term. Like, do not deplete the resources, the money, the stability that you have in the short term for a, in the moment gratification, instant gratification over long-term stability. That is not wise for you at this time. I think this is becoming more and more clear to you. It's just a matter of like, right? Everybody has free will, Leo, and you can do whatever you want. And all of you are going to be totally different in how this shows up, right? This is a general energy reading. It's not a personal. If you are interested in a personal reading, Leo, I will link my details below. Please note the only way to book a reading with me is via my website. Let me know how this is showing up for you. I'm going to clarify here with the Modern Witch Tarot. Thank you, angel spirits and guides. What additional messages do you have for Leo? Okay, so 10 of Swords. This is also the Everything is Fine card in the Modern Witch Tarot. This is like, you don't have to spread all your business to everyone. You don't have to explain yourself. You can, King of Swords, tell people like, hey, I'm planning to pull back this month. I want a budget. There are some goals that I'm planning for in the future. You don't need to tell them what your financial situation is about. They don't need to know your business, right? And if there are people that are going to, again, right, guilt trip you about what you're doing with your own freaking money, Leo, like cut them off. Just be done with it. Don't get stuck in overthinking. Don't get stuck in doubting yourself. Don't get stuck in worrying about if people are going to judge you and criticize you, because honestly, it doesn't matter. If people are going to talk mess about you and be like, oh, well, Leo's not fun anymore because Leo said they have to budget, like F them, seriously. Four of Swords, you may need to retreat. You may need to take some time away from being out there with certain people, especially if they're making you question yourself and making you feel bad for doing what's right for you in your life right now. Take a nap, sleep in. Don't let the peanut gallery get you up in your head. Don't let them doubt yourself and what you know you need to do right now, Leo, because this is about you and this is about your stability. You are the one who is paying your bills, no one else. Knight of Swords. Yeah, there may be some communication coming towards you. Again, I'm getting like that there may be some unexpected expenses that are coming towards you this month. I don't know what or who this Knight of Swords is. It could be, right, each of you are going to be different. A family member or a friend or some type of situation that comes up. And maybe it's going to require you to travel potentially. And that could be the unexpected expense. Interesting. Yeah, definitely. There's going to be something that comes up this month. Somebody is going to communicate with you. It could be a friend or a family member. But whatever it is, I do think it's going to, Five of Coins, bring up an unexpected expense. So I feel like the universe is trying to warn you ahead of time that right now at the beginning of March is the best time for you to pull back on spending money you don't need to be spending, because something you're not expecting, it doesn't have to be scary necessarily. I'm not getting that. It's just unexpected, right? And it's going to require some of your finances. So if you can start to pull back now and budget now and pinch your pennies right now, it's going to help you in the end. Just as an aside, we do have the new moon in Pisces on March 10th. I think this would be a really great moon for you to work with regard to setting intentions for Nine of Coins for your long-term financial stability. Any goals that you have around money, whether it is, you know, applying for a new job or starting a side hustle or just like investing your money a bit more intentionally, even if it's just like saving more, definitely would set those intentions on March 10th with this new moon in Pisces. There's also just like, especially with all of this sword energy, just as an aside, I believe April 1st is when Mercury goes into retrograde. Yes, I know. But Mercury enters the pre-shadow phase on March 18th. That's the day before we enter Aries season on the 19th. So at least for me, the shadow phase of Mercury retrograde can oftentimes be a bit more stressful, confusing, and chaotic than actual Mercury retrograde. So this may start to come up mid-month as we move into Aries season and towards Mercury going retrograde on April 1st. So definitely just be aware of the overthinking, be aware of the communication that may come in that is going to be a bit unexpected. Definitely use this time at the beginning of the month to get clear on what you need to do, where you need to, like I said, if you need to cancel old subscriptions you're not using, or just be budgeting and pulling back on how you've been spending your money. I think that that would be the wisest use of your time right now. Thank you, angels, spirits, and guides. Seven of Cups over the Nine of Coins. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of options and they may be a bit confusing for you. You just may be like, okay, these are the resources I have, and I've been looking at my money, and like, these are the things I'm going to start doing. I'm going to stop, going out as much. I'm going to restrict it to, however many times a month, or like, I'm going to, just set a budget for how much I spend on, nice to haves, right? Because obviously there's rent and there's groceries and there's things that you will need to use your money for, but then there are the things that are nice to haves, right? I like to do this. I like to hang out with these people. I like to go to this restaurant. I like this coffee shop, but is this the best use of my time? And you just may be a bit overwhelmed with those choices. They may trigger you a bit, because I think when you start to look at your money, it just may trigger some old fears about money in general, which I totally freaking understand, Leo. But just like, take your time. Like I said, we are still in Pisces season right now as I'm doing this reading. So your emotions may be triggered. And as we are moving towards the Mercury shadow period, you just might be a bit confused. I think first and foremost, figure out where you can pull back your money. And then with regard to setting intentions for how you want to potentially invest, right? Savings always going to be a good idea. But if there are other projects or ideas you have about where to utilize or invest your money, if you need to take time and pull back, do that. Don't rush a choice. Just know that pulling back is the first step. What's going to happen in the future, where it goes, is not necessarily going to be clear. It could be really confusing at this time. But again, pulling back, saving money, cutting off financial expenditures that you don't need to be spending money on right now is definitely going to be wise for you. All right, Spirit. Ace of Swords, definitely getting communication. Again, over the coins. So definitely feeling, as if there's going to be an unexpected phone call or email or message. Now, oh gosh, sorry, y'all. This could potentially be an opportunity to double your money. This could be a potential business collaboration. It could be, if you have like a 9-to-5 job, maybe an opportunity to build your skill set that maybe initially there's not going to be any money. But what I would say is, if you have an opportunity to learn a new skill, take a webinar or a workshop, and your job is willing to pay for it, definitely jump on that, because in the long term, that's only going to help you make more money. It's going to help you with your stability. If there is an opportunity for a job or a different position that could increase your finances, take some time to consider it, right? Again, I get the feeling of like, don't be rushed simply because you've started to become concerned about your money. Don't let fear drive your decisions. You can be practical about, how much money you're bringing in, what your, living expenses are, what even your fears are, but don't make choices from a place of fear. Make choices from a place of logic, okay? And again, if you're confused, take a step back. If a person or a situation is aligned, they're not going to make you rush. The Lovers card of Gemini. Again, a lot of air energy here. Now, the Lovers, for sure, it can be associated with romantic relationships. And you could be trying to determine how you want to utilize your time and whether or not romance is the best use of your time and energy. This is just also in general, like a big energy of getting clear, Leo, about who you are and what your values are, and making choices that are actually aligned with what you say you value, right? So if you value having financial stability, don't allow people to influence you and to peer pressure you into giving in and spending money you don't have just to prove to them that you're quote unquote a fun person. It's like, get over that, right? Like, trust yourself. Start making choices that are going to lead to your long-term stability, right? With all of this air energy that's coming in, definitely feel like you're going to be a bit overwhelmed. But come from a place of groundedness, King of Swords, right? Like, remember who you are, take your time and think things through, right? Be clear on the time, energy, resources available to you and make the best decision for yourself, not from a place of fear of what's going to happen or what other people are going to think, not from a place of wanting people to like you, right? But from a place of what's the best for Leo. Thank you, Spirit. If this is resonating for you, please like the video. Let me know. Four of Wands in reverse. So for me, this is like, if there are situations that are not bringing you stability, it is time to cut them off, whether it is friends or a relationship, right? Because sure, like if you're in some of you are going to be single, right? Some of you are not, because this is a general reading. If you're interested in a personal, click my website. Whether this is related to a romantic partnership, if you're partnered, or friendships in general, or just like how you are living your life, if it's not going to bring you stability, Four of Wands in reverse, it's time for you, King of Swords, to be honest with yourself about that and to cut it off. Stop the energy leakages, because if you are leaking energy with people, places, or situations that are not bringing you stability, it's going to start to affect your finances. It's like if you are hanging out with people that peer pressure you and make you feel bad for not saying yes to every invitation and not wanting to spend all this money because you're trying to be more mature and more grounded in your approach. Like, why do you want to be friends with those people? It's like lame when people use peer pressure to try to get you to do what they want. It's like, why don't those people just have confidence in their own choices and not be so worried about what you are doing? Thank you, Spirit. King of Wands, this is fire energy. Leo, I'm getting, again, more advice for you to be stable and confident and to know that actually understanding that an abundant mindset is not about having all of these things and doing all of these things. Actually, abundance is the understanding that you have what you need, the universe provides it, and you are a good, what's the word I'm thinking about? I can't think of the word. You respect what you have, and you know you don't have to do it all and be extra this month, because as you are in your stability and as you trust where Spirit's leading you, you will start to draw more aligned situations, whether it's a job or, you know, business prospects, right? This could also be potentially a boss that is watching you mature, watching you be very considerate and intentional about your time, energy, and resources, because it's also like, it's not just how you're spending money, it's how you're spending your time, right? If you are still in this place of believing that you have to do it all to prove that you are abundant, that is an inverted version of stability. You can do less because you know who you are. And that confidence that you exude in knowing that you have plenty to celebrate and you don't need to do it all with everyone and spend all this money to prove yourself shows that you have confidence, not just in your resources, but in yourself, right? Because you trust your situation. You don't need anybody else to. And not only will you find that groundedness in your own stability, it's like you're not allowing the pressure from the outside to control how you operate. That's true confidence. And other people will start to notice that, and other people will want to come towards you and offer you more aligned, abundant opportunities simply because of your self-confidence. Hopefully that makes sense, Leo. If it does, like the video. Would love to know how this is showing up for you this month. Seven of Swords, Knight of Wands in reverse. Okay, so this is more air energy. Be strategic, be logical, take your time. Do not be rushed by fear or peer pressure. Whatever choices you're making this month, take your time, be strategic, be logical, be grounded in your approach. Take your time. Do not be rushed. Knight of Wands in reverse. If you are getting offers to go out with friends, don't be rushed or pressured into saying yes if that's not the best use of your time, energy, and resources. If there are job offers coming into you this month, don't be rushed into saying yes, right? Again, like I was saying, aligned people and situations and offers that come toward you are going to allow you to take your time. They're going to respect you for needing to take the time. Like if somebody's like, hey, I want to go to Miami at the end of the month, and you already know that you were planning to budget because maybe you want to take a bigger trip in the summer, and you know that you want to take 2 weeks and it's going to cost a certain amount of money. So sure, you could do Miami at the end of the month, but that's money that you were saving for something bigger. It's like, be logical, be strategic. Do not allow, that instant gratification of saying yes to push you into a place of depleting your own resources, Leo. I hope this is making sense for you. I definitely there's a lot of strategy involved. There's a lot of budgeting. There's a lot of just being really methodical and intentional with your time, energy, and especially with your money this month. I know that's not necessarily the most fun sort of message, Leo, but it's ultimately, if you decide to do this, right, because you have free will, you can do whatever you want, right? Nothing is set in stone. And, we shift opportunities and timelines based on how we engage with reality. But if you choose to accept this challenge this month, it will lead ultimately to your Nine of Coins, to your financial and 3D stability in the long term. You just kind of have to be careful about giving into, those instant gratification and the desire to just do it right now because it feels good. But then you have to suffer the consequences, right? When unexpected expenses come your way, right? So just be smart. Again, if this is resonating for you, like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know how this is showing up for you. I'm super curious. Going to end this reading with a card from the Sufi Wisdom Oracle. We have Return to Joy. We are here to experience joy. Just going to look this up in the book. Thank you so much for being here, Leo. I appreciate y'all. Hope these messages are supportive for you this month. Okay. O Sufi disciples of the moment. Roses are blooming and nightingale is drunk. It is the call to ecstasy. In the wilderness of my gloom, the moment is this instant when you shower rain upon me from the cloud of mercy. Rumi. Trusting in the divine plan and knowing we should enjoy every moment of our life are the first steps toward freedom from mental and spiritual pain. We all have bad days, even weeks, when we fall down in our ability to be happy. No matter how long we live, if we cannot enjoy our prosperity, we are refusing the divine gift of life. Dear one, life can be hard, but happy people are those who tend to move through hard times with an attitude of clarity versus victimhood. Unhappy people are those who see themselves as victims of life. They see what happened to them rather than finding a way through and out of it. Concentrating on what's wrong in this world versus what's right does not lead to a happy life. There is no escape from experiencing fear and worry at times, but make an important distinction between feeling it and living it. You might be so caught up with achieving your next goal or the next item on your to-do list that you forget how wonderful life truly is. As Rumi suggests, concentrate on living in the now and create a dream about the future. This is how you become excited about something you are working on, grateful for what you have, and are able to dream about the possibilities of life. Your mantra is, I am here in this world to experience joy. I dedicate a portion of my everyday life to turning off all technology and slowing the pace of my life. I celebrate the present moment and I live in gratitude. Yeah, have gratitude for how far you've already come. Leo, have Respect for your resources. Do not deplete them trying to please other people and prove something to other people. Be a, you know, a teammate with the universe, right? Utilize your resources in an intentional and mindful way, and you will lead to your long-term stability. And so I hope these messages resonated for you. I'll see you next time. Bye.